Hey, it's Tony Torn for New York Native, reporting on the New York theater scene. Now, deep inside this Williamsburg warehouse, Kate Brehm is doing something really special with puppets that's definitely not for children. Let's go upstairs and check it out. For me, this piece is about the act of watching. We're watching through these windows, and you play with the perspective of what we see through those windows a lot. Tell me about your interest in the way we see space on stage.
The first thing that I thought of was basically the stage with the windows. That was the first thing that came out because I was reading about the ability to change frames with the camera. And then those combined medium really were inspiring for me in thinking about how to tell a story using a changing framing on the action and also sequential pictures in an order that tells a story.
The subject is sexuality and sort of repression and all these things coming out, sort of perversity, and we're put into the voyeur's perspective watching the piece.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I love the idea of making the audience into the peeping Tom. It makes you part of the sexual perversion, which isn't really, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's not really perverse, and yet we all think that it is.
Yes. The tradition of the puppet show isn't so concerned with eroticism, and this is it's really exciting that you work with this. How long have you been combining the elements of puppetry and adult subject matter?
It's on people's minds all the time, and it just seems like a perfect subject matter for puppets, which can transform and fly and change and break apart, and you can show her breasts in the show, and it doesn't make it. You're like, does that make it rated R? I'm not sure.
Not sure, because
it's a puppet.
It's a puppet. I have to say that after seeing the show, I'm never going to look at paper dolls in the same way ever again. How'd you come up with this amazing use of the paper dolls as this sort of expanding sexual fantasy she has, this character?
I was toying around with several different symbolic elements. Images that are just not about subject, but about feeling and mood and storytelling. I've been working on it for 3 years, and it's taken me a long time to get the dramaturgy right. Then I understood. I was like, oh, of course! She's frustrated with her desire, and all she can think about is sex, and of course she's cutting out more penises and penises and penises and penises over and over and over and over, because she just wants it all the time.
Tell me about your relationship with Hitchcock as sort of an influence.
I got really excited about him as a storyteller because I've never felt like a good storyteller. I feel like my strength is in creating strange forms and special effects, which I use a lot in this show. But it's been hard for me to try to stay on a path, to keep it clear and simple. And he's amazing at that.
How you feel about working in New York and compared to when you first came here?
I've been here for 13 years now, and I feel like I could never have done a show like this when I first got here because I didn't have the people resources. You make your connections, you meet your people, you find the people that really like what you're doing, and you find people that you like what they're doing. It really takes a lifestyle to be able to produce stuff like this, so you really have to want it.
Well, thank you so much, Kate, and it's just beautiful to see you doing work that's about, your commitment and also the community you work with. It's very cool, and I just think that it's great.